After watching thousands of edits on AMVs, I decided to point out the most influential and practically classical albums with AMV music, and number 1 will surprise you. Starting with number 10, we have Safe Rock and Roll by Fall Out Boys. This album came in April 12 of 2013 with multiple hits. However, the most prominent for AMVs were Phoenix and My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, which also known as Light It Up, which were quickly adopted for edits. However, while they made quite a dent in the community, they didn't become iconic as the following one. Number 9, Sempiternal by Bring Me the Horizon. This album, quite competing directly with Save the Rock and Roll, was released in April 1 of 2013, and while in the metal community has multiple hits, in this case of AMV and nerd culture, there's only one singular song that comes up, and that one is the one and only Can You Feel My Heart, also known as the Giga Chat theme. And that soul song has made such impact in the community that until the point of this video being recorded, is being used actively, unlike Number 8, Death of a Bachelor by Panic at the Disco. In the numerous side of the adoption I'm pointing out of the shift of the genre for AMVs, this album came out in January 15, 2016. The youngest album in this video, and despite that having 3 powerhouses on the anime community, those being Emperor's New Clothes, Victorious, and Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. Being recognized easily, yet also being the last of the albums that have multiple songs that were widely used for AMVs. But to follow it, we have one in the older side. That one being number 7, Infest by Papa Roach, as said, more in the older side, being released in April 2000. One of the cult classic in the melt and rock fandom. However, for sake of this video, I want to point out 2 of the songs in the album, which are Dead Cells and Last Resort, which became popular for a long time before the AMV Trinity appeared, which will be in the top 5. But for now, in number 6, we have Transmissions by Starset, the first ever album and arguably one with most hits beyond the Trinity. And this one was released in July 8, 2014. Despite being the second earliest, it had a huge impact in the anime community, with multiple songs that were constantly part of the AMV, including Carnivore, My Demons, and It Has Begun. As well other songs that grabbed attention, yet not becoming staples as the 3 after mentioned. But sadly, it fell off slightly short for the top 5. Number 5, In the End Is Where We Begin by Thousand Foot Crutch. As the opener for the top 5, we have this album released in May 8 of 2012. This is another of the powerhouses that we have that have multiple songs that became instant hits in the anime community. But I would like to point out 2 songs, those being War of Change and Courtesy Call. Insanely powerful songs, and while transmissions are exchangeable, the following one will not. In number 4, we have Hybrid Theory from Linkin Park, released in October 24 of 2000, and arguably the biggest of the AMV trifecta bands. However, when it comes to anime, it's the weakest of the three, despite having Indian and Crawling. However, other of their staples are divided in their other albums, like Meteora and Minutes to Midnight. And because of that, it gets beaten by number 3, One Ants by 3 Days of Grace, a member of the AMV trifecta, which was released in June 13, 2006, the strongest album in the entry, with their most important and influential songs being condensed in this album, which are Animal I Have Become, Riot, and Pain, which are songs that any anime fan that watched AMV and was active in this period would recognize, but not as much as. Number 2, Awake by Skillet, the album that gave us the most important song in the anime community that any fan would be able to sing from the heart. That's how important it is. This one was released in August 25 of 2009, and 2 songs that made a splash in the anime community, which are Awake and Alive and Hero. But it also gave us arguably the most used song in edits before TikTok, that being Monster, making it arguably the last member of the trifecta. But then, who takes the most important album? You might be wondering, my people. But before that, I want to point out honorable mentions. I want to point out Meteora by Linkin Park, Survival Horror Post-Human by Bring Me the Horizon, and Popular Monster by Falling in Reverse. And if you disagree or want to make your own list, why don't you tell me in the comments? And now, for number 1, The Fame Monster by Lady Gaga. Despite of the AMV trifecta, they do not beat Lady Gaga Fame Monster, which is a pseudo re-release / deluxe edition released in November of 2009 and hold the album Fame as well, an MP, and is packed with the most influential songs, which are Bad Romance, Poker Face, Paparazzi, Monster, and Telephone, barely missing all the songs that forged the nerd community, with only missing Judas.